Welcome to Football Now, a new YouTube channel talking through the predictions of the upcoming Premier League fixtures. And Connor is going to talk us through the odds for this particular game here to start us off. Man United versus Brighton at Old Trafford. I think it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, Connor.
Yeah.
What are the odds saying?
Well, the odds it is hard to choose, and I think the odds are reflecting that as well. The odds are putting Manchester United as the favourite. I think we're looking at about 5-4. We see it on the screen there, 6-5 favourite. But how on earth can you predict this? 3-1 draw, 2-1 for Brighton, pretty much. It's so hard to predict. It's so hard to see where the value is. I mean, Manchester United at Old Trafford is always a tough place. Although Brighton did beat them at Old Trafford last season, in the first game of the season. Manchester United at the moment are in a shambles. Let's just call it what it is. They are in an absolute mess off the pitch. And the whole thing about the players, will they sell? Won't they sell? Obviously, we know the whole thing with Greenwood now. That's just been handled so terribly by Richard Arnold. He's gone now. He's gone to Getafe. You've got Anthony, who's now been suspended by the club following allegations of domestic abuse. And now you've got Jadon Sancho, who was called out by Eric Ten Hag pre-match against Arsenal. And Jadon Sancho, who, in my opinion, well within his rights, responded quite harshly on social media, saying that Ten Hag comments weren't true, that he's always given 100%, 10% in training. I'm actually just reading now, from Sky Sports, that Eric Ten Hag wants Jadon Sancho to apologise for his scapegoat social media post. So it's an absolute mess, and that's going to have an effect on the pitch. And if you've got problems off the pitch, that translates on the pitch. The last team you want to face is Brighton, because they are absolutely fantastic. Robert De Zerbi is just incredible. To take over from Graham Potter, who did amazing for Brighton, and just build on that is fantastic. And I think one of the things that Brighton were criticised for in the past was a lack of goals. Their XG was always great. Some people loathe XG, but it was always great. But they couldn't have someone putting the ball in the back of the net. And then Evan Ferguson, 18 years old, it's a bit of a doubt for this game, so he may play. We'll see about that. But he's sensational. He got a hat-trick last time out. Only Erling Haaland has scored more than him this season in the Premier League, and it's just fantastic. I think I'm going to go with the draw just because I can't choose between the two, and I think 3-1. If there is any value, that's where the value is. But Manchester United really need to be careful. I think they need to resolve the Jadon Sancho scenario pretty quickly, especially after losing Anthony. If Evan Ferguson does play, that could be the difference. 18 years old, he looks absolutely phenomenal. I know Alan Shearer is a big fan, and there's anyone who knows about goals, it's him. So I'm going to lean towards a draw, but Manchester United need to be careful.
Yeah, let's talk about the abomination, I think, that has been Man United so far. They've got a lot of injury issues, I think, off the pitch too. Lissandro Martinez, Rafael Varane, Mason Mount. I think their new signing, Sofian Amrabat, as well. They just brought in from Fiorentina, are all out. It looks like Harry Maguire is going to be starting. He's not exactly enjoying life or football at the moment. Is he fresh off an own goal against Scotland? I think the reaction to it's been incredibly harsh, to be fair.
I agree. Absolutely agree.
I'm not really a fan of the way he's been treated, but...
No, I think every club has a scapegoat by fans, and I think still people are thinking about the price tag on Harry Maguire. I don't agree that Southgate continues to pick Maguire just because he's not been playing. I think if you're not playing for your club, you can't be picked for your national team. But he always does so well for England. There's a reason why he's been consistently picked for England. Yeah, and I think it's really harsh. I think not just his treatment by fans, but I think by the club as well. I mean, it's he can barely get on the pitch. I mean, you're not telling me that he's your fourth, fifth choice centre back. Sorry, not for me.
Yeah, obviously, the captaincy taken off him, and it's been one kick after another for him. We've mentioned United start 1-2, lost 2. The two that they've lost are to teams that I think at the start of the season they'd expected to have been competing with. Tottenham losing away 2-0, and then of course that 3-1 defeat to Arsenal before the international break. I'm sure you enjoyed that.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I watched it with a United fan. If Liam was watching, hello. He was very happy when Garnacho put the one in the back of the net, and then the only time in my life where I liked VAR saved the day. But I think they are really dependent on Marcus Rashford. I think he had about a year or two where he was struggling, but for the past sort of 18 months, he's been fantastic. And he just looks so, every time he got the ball and he was driving towards the Arsenal penalty area, I was worried. He obviously got the goal. I am going to be interested to see what Højlund does that they've just brought in from Atalanta, I think it was, because he had a brief cameo against Arsenal, and I think he looked really good. He looked really strong. Not quite Haaland levels, but I think Højlund could do very well. I think Manchester United have been lacking a real goal scorer for a while, and he looks good. I mean, if you play for Atalanta, you know how to put the ball in the back of the net because they score goals for fun. So I think it'll be interesting to see, but he's got to get service as well. And I think sometimes with the way that Manchester United play, they're not always the most creative force. But that process of settling in new players that takes time. I think Brighton are a well-oiled machine. So I think I'd be surprised if Brighton lose. I don't think there's any value in a Manchester United win. We see they're 6-5. You might think above evens for Manchester United or Old Trafford is good against anyone, but I don't know. I think Brighton have been so good for so long. They've had a couple dodgy results this season. I mean, losing at home against West Ham would have been a bit of a shock, although West Ham have had a great start to the season. But yeah, I'm just looking at the screen now. My eyes are drawn to that 3-1.
Mm-hmm. You've mentioned Højlund there. Obviously, United have been questioned, let's say, for their transfer strategy in the past. I don't think you can question Brighton in that department. They're the only. I think it speaks volumes that they lost Moises Caicedo and Alexis McAllister in the summer, and there was never really any concern. There never seems to be any concern from inside the club or out that they would struggle to hit the ground running this time around. They've done some good business themselves. Carlos Baleba has came in from Lille. We assume that's the Caicedo replacement. João Pedro's came in for 34 million from Watford. Still only 21. Baleba 19. They, like we said, we mentioned the chaos that's going on at Old Trafford off the pitch. Brighton are the polar opposite, aren't they?
Yeah, it is the exact opposite. I was worried when Graham Potter left because I thought that he's done so well with them that could really derail them. But the fact that they brought in Robert De Zerbi, I think that shows you, Brighton upstairs have really switched on. From their business in the transfer market and their recruitment with the players, but also in the manager. All of it really, really does make a difference. And we talked about how Man United off the pitch being shambolic can affect them on the pitch. Likewise, Brighton being so good off the pitch, you can really see they reap the rewards on the pitch. You mentioned the players that they've brought in there, but if you look at the players that are already there, I think Lewis Dunk is fantastic. He was brilliant for England the other day when he played. Estupinian at the back is fantastic, and he gets forward well. Mitoma is just another player who I think Brighton have really, really done well to hang on to him because there'll be a lot of clubs looking at him. They're in a really, really good place, and they just need to keep pushing up that Premier League table because there's no reason why they can't. Especially because the other teams like Chelsea, I think they're a long way off. Liverpool, they've looked good this season, but we'll see. They can really, really push on, and I think they're going to have a really good season this season again.
They've also just brought in Ansu Fati as well on loan from Barcelona. I think that's
incredible, absolutely incredible. I think. I mean, if he can get playing to his potential, I mean that could be one of the signings of the season. It really can be because the guy, he's still so young. I think he burst onto the scene at Barcelona when he's 16 years old. So it's just another fantastic player that they brought in to really add to the depth of their squad. Yeah, I mean, you see there, we got the league on the table there. If you look at the teams above them, Arsenal, Liverpool, they are almost the best of the rest. And I think I'm not going to say that they could look at the Champions League places yet, but saying that, I think top 5 now gets Champions League for this season. So who's to say that they can't? I mean, Newcastle obviously got a top four spot last season. They've had a poor start, what we'll touch on later. So yeah, I think Brighton fans are going to be more than happy.
Just looking at the list of their incomings as well before we take a look at the injuries. Someone else that they've obviously James Milner on a free from Liverpool, Mahmoud Dahoud from Borussia Dortmund as well. I think it just sums the way Brighton have gone around their business. They've got the youth players as the replacements for Caicedo, McAllister, etc. Like you said, they've got Evan Ferguson there, Matoma as well. They've also balanced that out with a very experienced James Milner. We saw the role that he played in Liverpool over the last 7 or 8 years. I think it was a very understated role.
Yeah, and he's so versatile as well. I mean, that is so important, especially nowadays. Because I feel like formations are disappearing almost from football now because players, on the pitch rotate so often. I think Arteta in the press conference said that his team play about 43 different formations in a match, something ridiculous. So I think if you can have a player like James Milner, who is so versatile and can play in so many different positions, it's very obvious that Brighton have a clear strategy of what they want to do on the pitch, what they want to do on the pitch, off it, who they want to bring in, and it just leads to healthy results and healthy performances on the pitch.
I think the one question mark, probably overstating it, but you mentioned that the defeat to West Ham, there was talk about it. Has Brighton and De Zerbi been found out? West Ham sat back and hit them on the counter attack. I agree. I think it's a one-off game. I think West Ham.
Yeah, it's just one of them.
Before we make our predictions, I'm just looking at the injuries here. It looks like Evan Ferguson is touch and go for this match with a knee injury. From what I'm reading here on Premier Injuries, there's a 50% chance that he could feature. 50% he doesn't. Having said that, Connor, then what's your score prediction? We mentioned the odds.
I think I'm going to go with the draw. In terms of the score, it's a bit difficult because I think it all depends on Evan Ferguson if he's fit. I think he'll play a part. I think he might not start to play a part. I'm going to go with 2-2, and I'm hesitant to say that because I don't associate Man United games with loads of goals. But I'm going to go with 2-2. My hope is that Welbeck is fit. And he scores a couple because that will just be absolutely beautiful. But he's looking a doubt as well. So if they miss both of those, I'll be a little bit concerned.
Yeah, I'm gonna. The inner Liverpool fan in me is pushing me to edge towards Brighton. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win for Brighton, a repeat of last season's result at Old Trafford. We'll see how it plays out. Like you said, I think it is an intriguing fixture. It's almost a question of which United turns up these days, isn't it? But that is our Man United versus Brighton prediction. Let us know your own predictions below in the comments and check out all our other previews from this weekend's games. Next up is Tottenham at home to Sheffield United. We'll see you there.